Welcome to another New Moon Yoga class with me, Dee. Today's class is centered around the energies of the new moon in Leo. Leo is about expressing yourself through art and style, enjoying romance and playtime, spending time with your kids, taking a leadership role, hosting and attending glamorous parties, and finding your place to shine. Leo is associated with the element of fire in the Ajna chakra, or third eye chakra. Leo rules our ears, circulation, blood pressure, spine, back, and the left eye. With all this in mind, I've curated today's class to help us embody these energies and tap into our Ajna third eye chakra. For this class, I recommend having 2 blocks or a stack of books or pillows for this practice. As you're ready, hop into something comfy, grab your props, and we'll get started. We will begin in a comfortable seated position on your mat, however that may look for you today. Once seated, I invite you to close your eyes or have a soft gaze at a point on the floor a few inches in front of you. Inhale, reach the top of your head toward the ceiling. Exhale, ground down into your sit bones. As you're ready, begin to notice your breath without the need to control it. Notice how it moves in and out of your nose. Notice the subtle movements your body makes as you breathe. As you continue to notice your breath, allow all worries, concerns, or to-do lists to fade away. Begin to bring yourself to this present moment, knowing all of you is welcome here. If you'd like, you can take a few exhales out of your mouth with a sigh. As you continue to breathe naturally, I welcome you to bring your mind to your sankalpa, or intention for this practice. It can be associated with this new moon in Leo, or something else entirely. First thought, best thought. Once you have your sankalpa or intention, allow your eyes to gently flutter open, taking in your surroundings. In this exploration of movement, allow me to be a guide, and your own body, mind, and spirit be the authority. Only do what feels good for you. When you're ready, extend your right leg out in front of you. Bring your left foot in towards your inner thigh of your right leg. Inhale, reach the top of your head towards ceiling to elongate your spine. And on your exhale, hinge at your hips forward any amount. You can place your hands along the sides of your legs or reach for your right ankle or foot. Ensure your right foot is flexed, and if you'd like, you can have a micro bend in your knee. Breathe in Janu Shirshasana, head to knee forward bend. Exhale, come back to center, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Extend your left leg out long. Bring your right foot towards your inner left thigh. Inhale, reach the top of your head towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinge at your hips any amount. Find where it feels good to place your hands, and maybe you'd like to have a micro bend in your left knee. Breathe. Exhale, come back to center and extend your right leg out long. Inhale the top of your head towards ceiling. Exhale forward any amount over both legs. Hands come along the sides of your legs or reaching toward your ankles or feet. Breathe here in Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. Exhale, release this shape, and make your way to Varmanasana, tabletop, bringing to mind your sankalpa, intention for this practice. Once you have your shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, on your next inhale, arch your back, allowing your belly to come towards the mat. Look up. Exhale, round your back, chin toward chest. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Continue this Marjaryasana and Bitalasana Vinyasa, or cat-cow flow, for a few more breaths at your own pace. On your next exhale, release the flow and bring your hips towards your heels, coming into a kneeling position. When you're ready, lower your head toward the mat, as close to your knees as feels good. Reach back to grab your calves or heels. Inhale, reach your hips up and roll forward, rounding your back until your arms straighten. Breathe in Sasangasana, rabbit. Exhale, release the shape, bringing your hips back towards your heels. Come back to Barmanasana, tabletop, hips over knees. And if you'd like, place your hands about shoulder width apart or wider. On your next exhale, lift your hips up and back into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Stay in stillness with your knees bent as much as you like, or bring some movement into the shape. You can try bending one knee and the other, walking your dog, or shifting your hips from side to side. Find what feels good and breathe. Exhale, bring your knees gently down to the mat. Keeping your elbows close to your body, bring your upper body down as well. With your hands under your shoulders, inhale your shoulders toward your ears. Exhale them down your back, bringing your chest off the mat. Look up. Take a few cycles of breath here in Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale your chest back down to the mat. Tuck your toes under, and on your next exhale, reach your hips up and back into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. On your next exhale, bend your knees generously and make your way to Uttanasana, forward fold at the top of your mat. You can take one big step, jump, hop, or join me in taking baby steps. Once in Uttanasana, forward fold, allow your upper body to hang over your thighs. Hands can be dangling in the air, on blocks, holding opposite elbows, or on the mat near your feet. If you'd like, you can shake your head yes and no to help relieve any tension in the neck. And you also have the chance to experiment with swinging side to side. When you're ready, bend your knees slightly. On your next inhale, begin to roll up your spine slowly, allowing your head to come into alignment last. Keep your feet where they are, or experiment with how far or close they are together. Relax your shoulders down your back and allow your arms to dangle at your sides. If it feels okay, begin to activate your core and legs without locking your knees. On every inhale, reach the top of your head towards the ceiling, and every exhale, grounding down into your feet. Notice if your shoulders are close to your ears, and if so, draw them down and back. Drishti or gaze is straight ahead. Continue to breathe, inhaling head towards ceiling Exhaling, grounding down in Tadasana, mountain pose. If you'd like, you can try interlacing your fingers on both hands together, palms facing away. Exhale, extend your arms out in front of you and reach them towards the ceiling. Stay here, or you can come to the balls of your feet. Engage your core and breathe. Exhale your heels back down to the mat if they aren't already there. On your next exhale, hinge at your hips forward any amount, coming back into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Hands come to the outside of your feet, and when you're ready, step one foot back and then the other, coming into plank. Take a cycle of breath here. On your exhale, reach your hips up and back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. You can take a cycle of breath here in stillness. And on your next inhale, shift forward, bringing your shoulders over your wrists, back into plank. If needed, you can walk your toes back a bit or walk your hands forward to come into a straight line from head to tailbone. Exhale, lift your hips up and back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. On your next exhale, shift back into plank. Continue this vinyasa or flow a few more times at your own pace. Inhaling into plank, exhaling into downward dog. Once you're back into plank, gently bring your knees down to the mat. Bend your elbows, keeping them close to your body as you lower your chest down. Inhale, shoulders toward ears. Exhale, shoulders down your back, lifting your chest up. Bhujangasana, Cobra. Exhale, chest back down to the mat. Curl your toes under, and on your next exhale, lift your hips up and back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Inhale, bend your knees generously, look forward. Exhale, make your way to Uttanasana, forward fold, at the top of your mat. Once in Uttanasana, find what feels good for a few cycles of breath. Maybe you widen your stance this time, or try swaying from side to side. Exhale, bend your knees slightly. Inhale, begin to slowly roll up your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. We are about to get into some balancing pose options, so I welcome you to come to a stance that feels sturdy and grounded for you. Option 1, shift your weight into your left foot. Bring the ball of your right foot close to the arch of your left. Find a non-moving point to set your drishti or gaze. Stay here or move your right foot anywhere along your left leg except your knee. Vrikshasana, tree pose. Option 2. Beginning with feet hip-width apart, bend your knees slightly. Cross your left leg over your right thigh. Use a block to place your left foot on, or try to hook it around your right calf. Level your hips and find a point to set your drishti or gaze upon. Bring your left arm under your right, bend at the elbows, and you can either bring the back of your palms to touch or try to bring both palms together. Garudasana, eagle. If you're feeling a bit wobbly today, feel free to use a wall, sturdy chair, or table to help with balance. Exhale, release the shape, and we will begin to balance on the other leg. Beginning in your comfortable, stable standing position, choose option 1 or 2. Option 1, shift your weight into your right foot, bring the ball of your left close to the arch of your right, or anywhere else along your leg except your knee. Find a non-moving point to gaze at and breathe in your Vrikshasana tree pose. Option 2, bend your knees slightly, cross your right leg over your left thigh. Use a block to place your right foot on or try to hook it around your left calf. Level your hips, find a point of focus for your drishti or gaze. Bring your right arm under your left, bending at the elbows, and you can either bring the backs of your palms to touch or try to bring both palms together. Garudasana, eagle. Whichever balancing option you chose for this side, breathe. Exhale, release the shape, and if you'd like, take a moment to shake out your legs a bit. When you're ready, meet me in the middle of your mat, feet wider than shoulder width. If you'd like, you can extend your arms out to the sides and place your feet underneath your elbows. If that doesn't feel good, find whatever width feels best for you today. Bring your feet parallel to each other. Keep your arms extending out to the sides. Begin to activate your legs without locking your knees. Inhale, reach the top of your head towards the ceiling. Exhale, ground down into your feet. Breathe here for a moment in Utthita Tadasana, 5-pointed star. On your next exhale, hinge at your hips forward any amount. Hands can come to blocks, dangle in the air, or down to the mat. If your hands come to the mat, I welcome you to try placing them in line with the arches of your feet. Spread your weight evenly through both feet. Draw your shoulders away from your ears and breathe in Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged forward bend. Shift your left foot inward 45 degrees, right foot outward about 90 degrees. Begin to shift your torso towards your right foot, squaring your hips. If you'd like, lift halfway up to elongate your spine, and then exhale back down over your right leg. Hands can be on blocks, dangling, or on the mat, framing your right foot. Breathe. Stay here, or you can come into a twist, twisting your torso to the right until your left hand reaches a block or the mat. If you'd like, bring your left hand with or without a block to the right side of your right leg. Reach your top fingers towards the ceiling and breathe. Exhale your right hand down to the mat if it isn't already there. Shift your feet parallel to each other and bring your torso back between your legs. Turn your left foot about 90 degrees outward and right foot 45 degrees inward. Begin to turn your torso towards your left foot to square your hips. If you feel it's needed, you can lift halfway to elongate your spine, and on your exhale, fold forward over your leg. If you'd like, you can always use a block under your hands here, framing your front foot, and allow the top of your head to reach toward the ground. Breathe in Parshvottanasana 2, or pyramid pose. You can stay here, or on your next exhale, twist your torso to the left, right hand on the mat, or a block. If it feels okay, you can place your right hand with or without a block on the left side of your left foot. Reach your left fingertips towards the ceiling, keeping your chest open towards the left. Breathe in Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolved triangle. Exhale your left hand back down to the mat. Both hands framing your front foot. When you're ready, step your right foot back in line with your left. Hips come up and back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Knees can be bent as much as you like here. As you're ready, shift your weight into the left leg. Reach your right foot towards the ceiling any amount, keeping your hips square. Breathe in Eka Pada Adho Mukha Svanasana, one-legged downward dog. Exhale your right knee towards your chest and place your right foot flat between your hands. Then shift your right ankle towards your left wrist. Square your hips and slowly lower them down to the mat. Keep your chest lifted, or on your next exhale, lean forward any amount. If you'd like, you can place a block or a folded blanket underneath your hip. Breathe in Eka Pada Raja Kapottanasana, pigeon. On your next inhale, Lift your chest off the mat if it isn't already there. Curl your left toes under and lift your hips to bring your right foot back in line with your left into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Take a cycle of breath here. And when you're ready, shift your weight into your right foot. Lift your left foot off the mat any amount, keeping your hips square. Breathe. Exhale your left knee towards your chest, placing your left foot on the mat between your hands. Shift your ankle towards your right wrist, squaring your hips before lowering them down to the mat. Stay here with your chest lifted or exhale forward any amount. On your last exhale, lift your chest off the mat, if it isn't already there. Begin to make your way to a seated position with your legs out in front. Bend your right leg foot flat on the mat. Bring your left foot underneath your bent leg. Heel as close to the outside of your right hip as feels good. Place your right foot on the outside of your left thigh. Right hand comes behind you on the mat. Inhale, reach the top of your head towards the ceiling. Exhale, gently twist to the right. Left hand can come to the right shin or ankle. You can also try hugging your right leg with your left arm. Inhale your head towards ceiling. Exhale, twist a tiny bit deeper. Breathe in Ardha Matsyendrasana, half Lord of the Fishes. Exhale, release the twist, and we'll do it on the other side. Begin with your legs extended in front. Bend your left leg foot flat on the mat. Bring your right foot underneath your bent leg. Heel towards the outside of your left hip. Place your right foot on the outside of your left thigh. Place your left hand behind you. Right hand on your left shin, ankle, or hugging your left leg. Inhale, head towards ceiling. Exhale, twist a tiny bit deeper if it feels good. Exhale, release the twist and extend your legs out front. Cross your right leg over your left and attempt to stack one knee on top of the other in front of you. If this isn't comfortable or gives you any knee pain, come back to sitting, however feels best. If you aren't able to stack one knee directly over the other, that's okay too. Find what feels good here. Inhale, raise your left arm horizontally to your side. Bend it down from the elbow and place your hand between your shoulder blades. Extend your right arm up and bend it behind your back. Attempt to clasp your hands together behind your back. If that's not feasible, you can utilize a strap or hand towel to fill the gap between your hands. Once you've connected your top hand with the bottom, stretch your elbows vertically away from each other. Draw your shoulders down and lengthen through your neck and spine. Breathe in Gomukhasana, or cow face pose. Exhale, gently release this shape, and we'll do it on the other side. Begin by crossing your left leg over your right and attempt to stack your knee on top of the other. Or you can sit with your legs however feels best. When you're ready, raise your right arm to your side and bend it down from your elbow, placing your hand between your shoulder blades. Raise your left arm up and bend it behind your back. Clasp your hands together or utilize a strap. Reach the top of your head towards the ceiling and draw your shoulders down and back. Breathe. Exhale, gently release the pose and make your way to sitting on your heels. Bring to mind your sankalpa or intention for this practice as you move. Once sitting on your heels, have your knees about hip-width apart or as wide as the mat. Exhale, hinge forward any amount, bringing your forehead toward the mat. If your knees are closed, your arms can come along your sides. If they are wide, your arms can extend out in front. If neither of these variations feel good today, you can also experiment with coming back to Varmanasana, tabletop. Pressing your hips back towards your heels any amount. Find your balasana and breathe. Exhale, gently release this shape. There are 3 options for your next pose. Option 1, sitting on your heels, place your hands behind you, fingers facing toward or away. Exhale, push your hips forward and arch your back. Drishti or gaze is up. Option 2, bring your hips over your knees. Place your hands on your lower back, fingers pointing down. Exhale, push your hips forward and arch your back. Drishti is up. Option 3, bring your hips over your knees. Tuck your toes, and on your next inhale, reach your hands towards the ceiling. Exhale, one hand to a heel behind you and then the other. Push your hips forward and breathe in your Ustrasana, camel pose. Exhale out of this shape, taking your time, and come to lying on your back. There are 2 options for this next shape. I highly recommend you watch me model each option before attempting on your own. This will reduce risk of injury. Option 1. Slowly roll your hips and legs up. Use your hands to guide your body into one straight line from chest to toes. Support your back with your hands. Elbows are on the mat, about shoulder width apart. Attempt to straighten your legs toward the ceiling. Option 2. Come to the same position as option 1, but instead of leaving your feet reaching towards the ceiling, allow them to come behind your head. Your feet may touch the mat behind you, or you can stack a few blocks or pillows to bring the earth up to you. Find what feels good with either Sarvangasana, shoulder stand, or Halasana, plow, and breathe. On your next exhale, slowly bring your legs down towards the mat, engaging your core, and gently rest your legs down. Take a few cycles of breath here, laying on your back. As you're ready, come to a seat with your legs extended. Place your hands next to your hips, about shoulder width apart. Exhale, lift your hips up towards the ceiling and press your feet into the mat. Open your chest and gently tilt your head back if it feels okay. Breathe here in Purva Tanasana, upward plank. Exhale your hips back down to the mat. Come to lying on your back once more. Bring your feet flat to the mat, knees bent. They can be about hip width or wider. Arms come along your sides, palms down. On your next exhale, tilt your pelvis toward your head. Then lift your hips off the mat any amount. Squeeze your buttocks and press your arms and shoulders into the mat. Breathe in Setu Bandhasana, bridge. Exhale, slowly roll down your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, as you bring your hips back down to the mat. And when you're ready, extend your legs out long. As you're ready, bring your left knee towards your chest. Shift your knee to land just outside your shoulder. Raise your foot so the bottom is towards the ceiling. Grab your foot and breathe in Ananda Balasana, half happy baby. If you'd like, you can keep your right leg extended or bent. And if you aren't able to grab your foot comfortably, utilize a strap here. Exhale, release your hand from your feet and guide your knee towards the right, coming into supine twist, Jatara Parivartanasana. Drishti or gaze is up or towards the left. Exhale, release the twist and extend your legs out long. When you're ready, bring your right knee towards your chest. Shift your knee to land just outside your shoulder. Raise the bottom of your foot so it is facing towards the ceiling. Grasp your foot and breathe in Ananda Balasana, half happy baby. If you'd like, you can keep your left leg extended or bent. Exhale, release your hand from your foot and guide your knee towards the left, coming into supine twist, Jathara Parivartanasana. Drishti or gaze is up or toward the right. Exhale, release the twist and bring both knees outside of your shoulders, bottoms of your feet facing the ceiling. Grabbing each foot with each hand, coming into Ananda Balasana, happy baby. Reach your tailbone towards the back of the mat and breathe. Exhale, release this shape and bring both knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins or gently holding your knees, giving yourself a nice hug. If you'd like, you can experiment with swaying side to side as you breathe. Exhale, release everything down to the mat. Coming into a comfortable pose for the rest of our time together in this class. Traditionally, Svanasana is the ending pose of an asana sequence. Svanasana looks like legs extended, feet naturally falling outward, arms along your sides, palms up or down. Eyes are closed or have a soft gaze. If this isn't comfortable for you, I welcome you to find a comfortable resting shape. Once in your Svanasana, take a deep breath in through your nose, expanding your belly. Exhaling out your mouth with a sigh. Allow your breath to come to its natural rhythm and pace. If needed, you can take as many deep breaths as required to release any remaining tension in your body. Begin to notice your breath, just as we did at the beginning of class. See if you can notice any difference in your breath or your body as you breathe. As you take note of the breath, I invite you to acknowledge the land on which you reside and the people who have stewarded this land throughout generations. If you know the name of these native peoples, you can name them now. And if you don't know their names, that's okay. You can take time after class to research. I've left a link in the description box below as a starting point. Let us also acknowledge the land of yoga's origin, the Saraswati River and Indus Valley of northwest India and Pakistan. Let us also acknowledge all of the teachers and students who have kept this spiritual wisdom alive for us to be able to practice here today. Continue to breathe naturally as you find a point of focus to set your internal gaze or drishti upon. Maybe it's your breath, or it's the noises you hear around you. Find whatever point of focus works for you today. I will leave you here to rest and allow your body to integrate everything we just practiced. With a few reminders in between, I will let you know when it's time to return. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your point of focus. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your point of focus. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your point of focus. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your point of focus. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your point of focus. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your point of focus. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your point of focus. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your point of focus. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your point of focus. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your point of focus. When you're ready, I invite you to take an inhale in through your nose, expanding your belly, exhaling out your mouth with a sigh. Do this 2 more times at your own pace. Upon your last exhale, begin to slowly and gently make small movements. Maybe you wiggle your fingers and toes, moving your head from side to side. Find whatever feels good here as you slowly and gently bring yourself back to your body. When you're ready, bring the bottoms of your feet flat to the mat, knees bent. Roll to your favorite side using your bottom arm as a pillow. Take a moment here to offer yourself some gratitude for taking the time and effort to connect with your mind, body, and spirit. If you'd like, you can offer some gratitude to the moon and anything else you're grateful for today. As you're ready, bring the top hand palm down in front of your chest. Push into that hand to bring yourself up into a seated position. With your eyes still closed or at a soft gaze, bring your hands palms to touch at your chest. Anjali Mudra. Bow your forehead towards your fingertips and raise your head back over your shoulders. When you're ready, begin to gently flutter your eyes open, slowly taking in the light and your surroundings. Take a moment here to gaze at your environment, noticing colors, shapes, textures, giving yourself an opportunity to reorient your body back into your space. I thank you for joining me in this new moon in Leo yoga class. If you liked this class, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe so you don't miss out on future classes, and if you'd like, you can donate as reparations and to help me purchase blocks and mats for students to use in my in-person classes. Donation information is in the description box below. Happy new moon, y'all, and blessed be.